"He's my brother," the little boy exclaimed, tugging on his mother's designer coat as they passed the crowded sidewalk. Their limousine hummed idly at the curb, its door still open, but the boy's wide eyes were fixed on the ragged figure, curled against the brick wall. The mother, a woman whose world revolved around board meetings and gala invitations, paused at her son's insistence and turned toward the street. The child on the pavement looked no older than 10, his clothes, threadbare and stained, his cheeks hollow from hunger. A single shoelace dangled from one sneaker, the other foot nearly bare. He clutched a battered cardboard sign that read, "Help. Thank you." The millionaire mother, accustomed to treating every passing hardship as a transaction, donate to this charity, sponsor that fundraiser, felt a flicker of something unfamiliar, a maternal tug she had never anticipated. Without a word, she stepped out of the limo and knelt beside her son. He looked at her expectantly, silently urging her to act. Her tailored heels clicked against the asphalt as she reached into her purse and pulled out a crisp $20 bill. She handed it to the boy on the street. The child's eyes widened at the unfamiliar crispness of the paper, then softened into something like relief. He folded the bill carefully and tucked it into his pocket. "Thank you, ma'am," he whispered, lifting his gaze to hers. "God bless you." Her heart tightened at the sincerity in his voice. She rose and glanced back at her own son, whose small hand nestled in hers. She realized that her child saw beyond the shiny cars and silk dresses. He saw another child, a brother in need. That night, in the opulent confines of their penthouse overlooking the city skyline, the boy replayed the moment over and over. His mother watched him push peas around his plate at dinner, still haunted by the street child's face. She realized that wealth had insulated her from heartache, but her son would not be so easily shielded. "Mom," he said hesitantly, glancing at her across the table. "Can we help him more?" She looked down at her son, his earnest eyes shining in the soft chandelier light, and nodded. "Yes," she replied quietly. "We can help him more." The next morning, before the sun had fully risen, the mother and son slipped out of their home and drove back to the neighborhood where they had first encountered the street child. She handed her driver strict instructions to wait a few blocks away. She and her son walked on foot, blending among early commuters. When they reached the corner, the boy was still there, clutching his cardboard sign. "Hey," the mother said gently, kneeling beside him. "Do you remember us?" The child looked up, confusion and caution mingling in his eyes. I think so, ma'am." "This is my son," she said, placing a hand on her boy's shoulder. "He wants to help you." The boy on the street looked at the two of them, mother and child, and then down at his own hands. "Why?" he asked softly. Her son spoke before she could gather her thoughts. "Because you're my brother." The street child blinked at the declaration, and then his face crumpled. He looked away, ashamed. "I'm sorry," he muttered. "I didn't mean—" "Shh," the millionaire mother said, placing both hands gently on his shoulders. "You have nothing to be ashamed of. You're safe with us." They took him to a small cafe down the block where the three of them shared pancakes and hot chocolate. The street child, whose name she learned was Marcus, ate ravenously, as though each bite filled more than just his stomach. The boy watched with delight as Marcus's eyes lit up with each forkful. After breakfast, they walked into the heart of the city, and the mother arranged for Marcus to have a warm bath, clean, clothes, and a proper bed for the night. She called a longtime friend who ran a local youth shelter and secured Marcus a place there. Over the following weeks, she and her son visited Marcus daily. They helped him enroll in school, buy books, and catch up on lessons he'd missed. The millionaire mother, who once measured success by profit margins, found a new metric: Marcus's brightening smile. Her son, now convinced that caring for others was more important than receiving the latest toy, begged her to keep Marcus close. One afternoon, while walking through the park, Marcus paused. He looked at the manicured lawns and the gleaming water fountain. "I've never seen anything like this," he admitted. The little boy took his hand. "This is my home," he said, "but now it's yours too." Marcus swallowed and nodded. He felt tears prick at his eyes. "Thank you," he said again, his voice thick. In time, the millionaire mother arranged for Marcus to stay with them during school breaks, and she hired a tutor to ensure he didn't fall behind. She even arranged for him to audition for the local youth orchestra, knowing music had once been his passion before hunger chased it away. Marcus practiced the violin in a sunlit room of the penthouse, his bow gliding across the strings with growing confidence. The little boy sat by the window watching him, proud that his brother had talent beyond measure. The mother listened from the hallway, her heart swelling at the notes that filled the halls. On Marcus's 12th birthday, the mother threw him a party in their private courtyard, balloons, cake, and all. His eyes welled with tears when he blew out his candles. The little boy standing beside him whispered, "Happy birthday, brother." As the sun set on that perfect day, the three of them watched the city lights come alive. The millionaire mother wrapped an arm around both of her boys and whispered, "Family isn't about blood alone, it's about the love we choose to share." Years passed, and Marcus flourished. He graduated at the top of his class, earned a scholarship to a prestigious university, and went on to become a social worker dedicated to helping children living on the streets. The little boy, who had insisted on calling Marcus his brother, grew into a compassionate young man, blending his family's resources with a passion for justice. Throughout Marcus's journey, the millionaire mother remained his staunchest cheerleader. At award ceremonies and charity galas, she would look at her two sons and remember the day her son saw his brother on the street. She realized that without that moment of clarity, her family would never have felt complete. Late one evening, long after Marcus had moved into his own home, the three of them sat around the dinner table, now large and full of laughter. The mother held her son's hands across the table. "You taught me the greatest lesson," she said softly. "That family is built by love," Marcus smiled, "and you taught me that second chances can change a life." The little boy, now a young man himself, grinned. "We're brothers by choice." The mother looked at them both, pride shining in her eyes. Always. In that moment, the mansion felt more like home than ever before. For true wealth, she realized, wasn't counted in dollars or possessions. It was measured in moments of compassion, bonds of love, and the simple truth that when one child rises, they all rise together.